So the story begins with God creating humanity who rebels. And God chooses Abraham to bless all of the nations through his family, who end up in slavery down in Egypt, and so God rescues them. Then at Mount Sinai, God makes a covenant with Israel, like an agreement. And all of the laws that Moses gives to Israel are the terms of that agreement. They're like a constitution. And so some of the laws, they're about rituals and customs that set Israel apart from the nations. Other laws are about social justice or morality, and by following these, Israel would show the other nations what God is like.
Okay, so the rest of the Torah is just the complete list of laws that Moses gives Israel?
No, the rest of the Torah just continues the story. And the 613 commands are only a selection from that original constitution, and even these have been broken up and placed at strategic points within the story. Now pay attention, because you'll see a really clear pattern. Moses gives the first laws to Israel.
Yeah, don't worship other gods, don't make idols.
And then right after that, there's a story of Israel breaking those very laws.
Yeah, they worship the golden calf.
And so Moses gives some more laws, and then you get more stories of rebellion. Some more laws, rebellion again, some more laws, more rebellion, and you start to see the point.
Right, no matter how many laws, they're just going to continue to rebel.
So at the conclusion of the Torah's story, Moses gives this final speech to Israel as they prepare to go into their new home. And he tells them, you guys, I know that you're not going to follow all of God's laws. You've proven to me that you're incapable. And Moses says the problem is that their hearts are hard and that they're going to need new, transformed hearts if they're ever going to truly follow God's law. And he was right. I mean, the story goes on to recount Israel's total failure.
They go into the land, they break all the laws.
Right. Now, the next section of books in the Jewish tradition are the 15 books of the prophets, and they reflect back on the story. For example, Ezekiel, he said that if Israel was ever going to obey the law, God's Spirit would have to transform their hard hearts into soft hearts. And Jeremiah said that's when obedience to God's commands wouldn't feel like a duty, but they would be written deep in their hearts. And Isaiah, he promised a future leader, Israel's Messiah, who will lead all of the people in obedience to the law. Now, in Jewish tradition, all of these books together are called the prophets, even the historical books, because they're continuing the story told from the perspective of the prophets.
Okay, so we have the law and the prophets, and they're telling one connected story about God's desire to bless the whole world through a people, Israel, who it turns out needs a new heart.
Yes, and Jesus saw himself as continuing that story. So he agreed with the law and the prophets when he taught that it's out of the human heart that come the most ugly parts of human nature. It's like the default setting of our hearts is opposed to God's law. But Jesus also said that he came to solve that problem, and in his words, to fulfill the law.
So what does he mean there, to fulfill the law?
Well, first he said that the demand of all of the laws in the Torah could be fulfilled by what he called the Great Command, that we are to love God and to love others.
So that seems pretty easy. I mean, we all want to love.
Well, we think we want to love. But Jesus showed how love is far more demanding than we realize. So he quotes the law, do not murder. And he says, yes, not killing someone is a very loving thing to do. But then he also says that when you treat someone with disrespect or when you nurse resentment against them, you're also violating God's moral ideal because you're not treating that person with love. And so Jesus said true love ought to extend even to our own enemies. So even though this command seems very simple, Jesus showed how our hearts are not currently equipped to fulfill even this basic command of God to love others.
And that's kind of a downer.
But where Israel failed, Jesus brought this story to its fulfillment. As Israel's Messiah, he fully loved God and others, and he showed all of the nations what God is truly like. He did this through his acts of compassion and mercy, and ultimately by loving his enemies even unto death. And after his resurrection, he told his followers that he would send God's Spirit to transform their hearts so that they could follow him and fulfill the purpose of the law, to love God and to love their neighbor. So this fulfills the story of the law and the prophets, or in the words of the Apostle Paul, the one who loves fulfills the law.
When famine struck Bethlehem in Judea, a family left the land they owned there and traveled south in search of a new life. The journey itself was not without risks for Elimelech, his wife Naomi, and their 2 sons. Famine had forced them away, but Judea was all they had known. Anywhere else would be foreign. Moab was a country often at war with their own, but when Elimelech saw the fertile plains, he decided they would settle there. Elimelech, Naomi, and their sons were content with their new life. They worked hard and they prospered. But then a sudden illness struck down Elimelech, and he died. Naomi's sons cared for and comforted her in her distress. But then, later, their decisions to marry brought her great joy. Her sons had chosen 2 Moabite girls, Orpah and Ruth. For Naomi, the marriages meant the chance of children and the continuation of her husband's family name. But within months of their marriages, both sons died, and with them, Naomi's hopes for a family vanished.
I must return to Bethlehem.
Why? But why, Naomi?
God's hand is against me. Our family name ended here in Moab.
We're coming with you.
Yes. It's far too dangerous for a woman alone.
But what more can I suffer? I've lost everything.
You still have us?
You must stay here with your people. You're still young. You can marry again. I have no more sons to offer you.
We'll never forget you.
May God reward you. Your love for my sons was great, and even now you honor them with your love for me. Follow your sister, Ruth. Go back to your mother.
No. You are my mother now. Where you go, I will go. And where you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there will I be buried.
So the 2 of them journeyed for days through the wilderness, until until they came to Bethlehem, where the rains had returned and a spring harvest was once again anticipated.
Is that Naomi? Whatever's happened to you?
So sad.
Where's your husband? Your sons?
Can the earth give up its dead?
God have mercy. All dead?
Don't speak of mercy. Speak of sorrow, because God has dealt so bitterly with me. She is all I have. Ruth, wife of my eldest son. She is my only family now.
Can you imagine? The poor girl left Moab for this. Oh, Naomi, you can't live here.
Where should I live but in my own home?
Yes, and this is my home too. I'm going to the fields.
Why?
They're harvesting. I can join the women gleaners.
Scavenging with the poor. Oh, my child.
We are poor.
But the men who are harvesting, they could take advantage of you.
I'll be careful.
You're such a stubborn child. A daughter should listen to her mother.
A daughter should work so her mother can eat.
Perhaps you know best after all. May the Lord God keep you safe.
Hey, where are you going? Moab's that way.
But I could show you a shortcut.
What's she want?
She's come to steal our barley.
No, she's come to beg. She's asking to glean.
Get back to work!
Please. If not for my sake, for my mother-in-law, Naomi. I beg you.
So, you're the Moabite woman that came back with Naomi.
Yes,
What brings you here? Her land lies over there.
that land lies barren. Please, let me glean here.
I can't give you permission. This field belongs to Boaz.
Then let me glean till he arrives. Believe me, I'll not keep a single grain without his consent.
All right, but keep well back from the others. They won't want you joining them. There's little enough to glean as it is.
The Lord God bless you.
The Lord be with you.
The Lord
The
bless
Lord
you.
bless you. Master, a word with you. The Moabite woman who came with Naomi. I said she could glean until you arrived. She'll not keep a grain without your consent. She's a hard worker. She hasn't stopped all morning. She's been no trouble. Here, you must be thirsty.
My lord, why do you show me such kindness?
Because I have heard all that you've done for Naomi. You deserve a rich reward. All I can do is give you permission to glean wherever you like.
You are most generous.
Ruth, work only on my land so that I can make sure that no man molests you. Come now, don't be alarmed. You can join us while we eat. Take some ears from the piles of grain and drop them in our path.
I've been so worried. Oh, Ruth.
And there's more. He let me share their meal, and I've saved some for you.
He let? Who let you?
His name is Boaz.
Of all the fields.
And he said I could glean for the whole harvest.
The Lord God guided you to Boaz. Boaz is a kinsman of ours, a relation. May the Lord God bless him for his kindness.
Ruth worked on Boaz's land throughout the hot summer months. First the barley harvest, and then the wheat harvest. Boaz admired Ruth and the way she worked tirelessly for her mother-in-law. And Naomi, for her part, planned to secure Ruth's happiness by finding her a good husband.
They've begun the celebrations.
Yes, the harvest is over, and now we must think of the future. Our stores are overflowing, but they will not last forever.
I'll find other work. I can weave.
You won't find another master as generous as Boaz.
No, I'll miss working on his land.
Will you? There's another good breeze tonight. Boaz will be winnowing past nightfall again, so he'll eat and sleep at the threshing floor. Ruth, you must speak with him tonight, alone.
Why?
He is from our clan. Ruth, if you would only ask him, I know he'd honor his duty by marrying you.
Marry me? A foreigner? And a widow?
If you would have a child together, our family line would be restored.
Tell me what I must do.
First, we must prepare you. No one else must see you together. Wait until everyone's asleep, then go and lie near him. Uncover his feet. He'll wake later with the cold, and when he does, he will tell you what to do.
I will do what you ask.
Who are you?
Ruth, my lord. Spread the corner of your garment over me, for you are my next of kin.
May God reward you. Such a sacrifice for Naomi's sake is great indeed. You have already earned the respect of many. You could have married for love.
But... yes.
I am not free to marry you.
Oh.
There is another kinsman closer in line. He must renounce his claim before I can do what you ask. But we must wait till the morning. No one must know you've been here. You cannot go back to Naomi empty-handed. Reassure her that the matter will be settled with honor. Whatever the outcome, you will have a husband today.
What happened?
He insisted I brought you this. But why didn't you tell me we had another kinsman closer in line?
There is no kinsman more worthy than Boaz.
He is a man of great honor.
Then take heart, my daughter. Boaz is as wise as he is good. He will not let another man make you his bride.
My friend, we have something to discuss. We'll need witnesses.
Is it a matter of law?
Family law. You are of Elimelech's clan, as am I. His widow Naomi has put her land up for sale. If you wish to buy the land and honor the obligations that accompany it, tell us now. If you do not, I myself will buy it, since I am next in line after you.
Boaz, I will buy it.
And you also recognize that on the day you buy the land, you also buy Ruth, the widow of Elimelech's elder son. You must do this in order to revive the family name.
Be careful. She's young, so there'll be children, and they'll have first claim on the land.
And on your other property, no doubt.
Then I cannot. Boaz, take my right yourself. Before the elders here, I recognize your right to walk upon our kinswoman's land.
You are witnesses that I now buy from the hand of Naomi everything which belonged to Elimelech. Also, Ruth the Moabite, I take as my wife.
We are witnesses.
And before long, Naomi's heartfelt wish for a grandchild was fulfilled.
You have a son once more.
Thank you.
How your daughter-in-law loves you. She's worth more than 7 sons. What joy the child will bring you in your old age.
May the Lord God bless him. Call the child Obed.
Obed, the servant of the Lord.
Obed became the father of Jesse, and Jesse became the father of David, and David became the king of Israel.
Now we can leave this place. Now spread his word.